Hello, you're watching Buckle Up. My name's Jasper Bruce Wright and this is the brand new 2024 Mini Countryman, and today I'm going to find out if it's any good. This is the third generation model of Mini's crossover, and it's grown in every dimension, but it's still very much recognisable as both a Mini and a Countryman, and that starts at the front, where yes, it looks quite a bit like the outgoing model, but you can tell it's more modern because you've got some angled sections. These are your daytime running lights and front indicators, and they've now got a bit more personality in them thanks to those angles. Your front grille is still just as large as it was, and it's got this highlighting element around it, which is a brushed plastic finish. You've got a large sensor here for your assisted driving systems, your Mini badge prominently front and center, and then this bar across the center of the grille. Down here, a brush guard which stands out nicely against the lower section of the bumper, which is black plastic. That gives you the kind of roughy-tufty cladding, which obviously, this being a crossover, it leans into. It is still a very stylish machine, and you can tell that when you come down to the side and have a look at these alloy wheels, which are on this car a £1,200 optional extra, but these are a 20-inch windmill spoke design of alloy, really stands out against the rest of the car and has a kind of gold diamond cut finish to them. You've got this chunky cladding that surrounds these wheels with little aerodynamic indentations for a bit of style in it, and then you've got black plastic covered mirror caps and in this case a black roof. Your belt line sits quite high up, but you've still got the floating roof design. The bodywork at the side also has some interesting elements to it, so you've got crease lines in the bonnet and then a crease line above this wheel arch, a little bit of a crease down into the door panel, which is quite smooth, and then for the sake of aerodynamics, you've got these recessed door handles, which are a nice premium element. Down here at the bottom, you've got that same gold-coloured brushed plastic effect as you have around your front grille, so the styling here is very nicely tied together, and that's actually a running theme with this car. It is very stylish. Up here you've got a nice practical element with some gloss roof bars. There's a lot of gloss black plastic along the side of this car, including your belt line. You've got a stylish graphic element on your C-pillar, a rear window, and then just below that on the driver's side you have your fuel flap, although you can get this model as a fully electric vehicle. The back is probably the section where you can see the most change over the outgoing model, with it being obviously larger at the boot end. Round here you've got these all LED customizable design light clusters, a large section of boot that has the Countryman script across it in a kind of gold finish brushed lettering. Large Mini badge again, and then down here we've got a matching bit of styling to what we have up front and on the side of the vehicle. You've got a small boot spoiler and a dark bit of tail glass that matches your dark rear windows, and then you've also got some roughy-tufty black plastic cladding elements to this rear bumper. Mini have done a great job of updating this design, even if it means that the Countryman has grown. Typically, when a vehicle does increase in size though, you do benefit in terms of practicality. So let's open the boot and find out. Back here you've got 480 litres of space, although that will increase up to 1,390 if you fold those rear seats down. The rear seats actually fold in a 40-20-40 configuration, so if you've got a long item, you can drop that middle one and put it all the way through. The boot is a brilliantly practical shape. You have a small load lip to lift things over, but past that, it's brilliantly square, really nice and wide, and goes quite a way back. You have got a small section of liftable floor, which has room for your tyre repair kit and luggage net in it. On the right hand side you've got a small cubby, and on the left you've got a little cargo net, and then you've also got some tie down points at the back of the boot and a shopping bag hook on both sides, as well as a 12-volt socket on the right hand side. The only mild frustration is you can't actually fold those rear seats down from back here. You do have to go round to the side of the car to do so. So let's go and check out the interior. Another benefit of this car growing in every dimension is space in the rear. So I've got acres of legroom and a really good amount of headroom. I am 173 centimetres or about 5'7.5", and I have got more than enough room back here. Therefore, somebody who is 6 feet tall or 180 odd centimetres should be more than comfortable enough for a long journey. Another massive plus point when it comes to rear passenger comfort is seat adjustability. So obviously these headrests have numerous different positions that you can adjust them to, but your whole seat moves. So this individual seat will slide quite a long way forwards and backwards, and then this 60% section over here will do the same. Not only does the base move, you can adjust this seat back into one of no less than 7 different angles. So if your rear passengers can't get comfortable, I'd be very surprised. The only mild frustration I have when it comes to rear passengers is the seatbelt for the middle seat is unfortunately one that drops down from the roof rather than being integrated into this run of seats. When it comes to practicality though, there's a lot going for the back of the Countryman, with large door bins suitable for a reusable bottle of water down here, small little cubby by the grab handle, cubby in the centre, footwell down here, a pair of rear air vents and 2 USB Type-C charging ports. You've got a seat back pocket on both of these seats and a pair of cup holders in this pull down armrest, which of course both hold a reusable bottle of water very well. Material quality is another massive plus point for the back of this Countryman. So these seats are clad, in this case, in a brown, not my first choice, but you can choose 3 different colours back here, but a brown fake leather or Veskin material, and then you've also got a woven fabric mesh on the doors and some rubberized touch points around this armrest as well. So yes, down here you've got some more plasticky elements, but it's a really high quality and very sturdy feeling bit of plastic. The seats also have some small bits of contrast stitching elements to them in a blue and red stitching, and you've got the Mini badge stitched into these outer rear seats. Both of these have Isofix points, which are under flip-up plastic covers that remain attached so they won't get lost. Of course, the front is great as well. You've got the same Veskin material on the seats up here, again in that brown, but you can have it in a lighter colour or a darker grey. The dashboard is covered in the same woven fabric material as you have in the back, and that kind of ombre fades into the blue that you have across the dashboard. You've got that same material on the wireless Qi charging holder down here, as well as the lid of this small cubby holder in the center console. That has a rubberized material at the base, as does this section here, so everything's pretty grippy. There's a pair of cup holders in the center down here, as well as cup holders in the door bins, which hold a reusable bottle of water very well, and then you've got some space back here for something like an ice scraper in winter. I've got an adjustable armrest here which slides a long way forwards and backwards, so finding somewhere comfortable to sit in this car is very easy. Part of the upgrades fitted to this car include electrically adjustable front seats, with the driver's seat having 2 memory positions, and the steering wheel adjusts for both reach and rake. This also has a massaging backrest, and I must say is ridiculously comfortable. Other practical elements include a decently sized glove box over here, and then obviously this center console storage area under here, 12-volt socket back here, and then a pair of USB Type-C charging ports here too. All of the controls you have in the cabin feel pretty premium. I like these air vent kind of joysticks, with the air vents actually being recessed into the dashboard, and you've got a good selection of buttons on this steering wheel, which is a 2-spoke design with a 3rd little fabric strap down here. Then you've got the same little cluster of buttons here as we've seen on the brand new Mini Cooper, with a key in the center for turning the ignition on and off, an experience toggle to the left of that, a physical volume control for your infotainment system, and then your shift selector over on the right here, as well as a button to put it in park. Below that you have a row of 5 physical buttons. Everything else, therefore, is operated through this infotainment system. A large OLED circular display, which is really intuitive, has brilliant graphics, and despite even things like the climate controls being integrated into it, is pretty easy to just tap away and use. The built-in sat-nav system is very good, easy to use, and all of the menus are incredibly easy to swipe through. This is based on an Android operating system, and it really does feel like a smartphone. You've also got Mini's new voice assistant, which you can ask to do things such as adjust the climate control, turn on the heated seats and steering wheel, and what it does really is make it a little bit easier to not have to touch this for a lot of basic functionality. The new Mini Countryman is therefore looking like a pretty good package overall. Let's find out how it drives. One thing that is immediately obvious driving this all-new Countryman is that, yes, it has grown. So in comparison to the outgoing model, you definitely do sit a little bit higher up, and it definitely feels a lot more like an SUV. As a result of this raised seating position, vertical rear screen, and very good wing mirrors, your all-round visibility is brilliant. The second thing you immediately notice when driving this all-new Countryman is just how quiet it is in this cabin. The main noise that I'm hearing is a little bit of road noise, but in terms of wind noise, despite this having a very upright front screen, there's basically nothing. The engine in this particular model is the entry-level one, badged C, which means that I have got the 1.5 litre turbocharged 3-cylinder petrol engine with mild hybrid technology. So that gives me a peak power output of 168 PS and 240 Newton meters of torque. Those power figures are enough to take this Countryman from 0 to 62 in 6.8 seconds, which isn't exactly fast, but it's definitely brisk enough for this segment. And actually the Countryman, even at its entry point, has more than enough power to be in a very competitive position. In the Countryman C, the power from that 1.5 turbo triple is fed exclusively to the front wheels through a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. When moving, this shuffles the gears about seamlessly and is a pretty good box for making swift, easy progress. However, my only gripe with it is at a set-off, it's a little bit hesitant to initially put that power down, and therefore this does feel sometimes at junctions or roundabouts like you're going, come on, come on. But other than pulling away and being a little bit jittery at that, this driving experience is supremely smooth and very easy to live with. The engine thrums away, it's barely audible under most driving circumstances. If you put your foot down, it revs up and you get that thrummy little 3-cylinder note popping through, but it's not really a very prominent feature in this driving experience at all. The Countryman, despite having grown, does ride reasonably well, so the suspension is firm and it controls the body roll as a result of that, but over extremely rough surfaces this does have a slight element of choppiness to its ride. I would, however, take a little bit more choppiness over a feeling of wallowing my way around every corner, so I think Mini have got that balance just about right here. When it comes to economy, this is kind of middle of the pack, so WLTP cycle says this should be able to easily achieve at least 40 miles per gallon in mixed driving. Now, over the last 1,700 miles this car has done, the average has been 32 miles to the gallon. However, this is a test drive or demonstrator vehicle, and in those kind of situations, drivers aren't particularly economical, so I can see you easily being able to achieve 35 in mixed driving, and on a motorway run you should be able to get mid to high 40s without too much trouble. One area where the Countryman does kind of struggle a little bit is pricing. Now, base price for this is just about £29,000. However, that is a vehicle that has no options packs selected and no additional kind of little styling tweaks. So if you pop on one of the 3 levels of technology packs, which are 1, 2 and 3, respectively, about £2,500, £5,500 or £7,500, as well as then the exclusive trim level or design package that this car has, you're suddenly up to £39,000. And then if you add on things like the larger alloy wheels or something like the optional silver roof, it's very easy to option one of these, even in this 1.5 litre engine size up to about £42,000, which is quite expensive, but pretty comparable with a top-of-the-range Kia Sportage, for example, which will have a similar amount of power and realistically is actually a very close competitor to this car. One area this Mini in particular really shines in, because it's been optioned with the 3 Tech Pack, is assisted driving systems and technology. So I've got a full panoramic sunroof, I've got my heads-up display, which is standard across all of those 3 option packs, and then, with this being the 3, I've got a very sophisticated set of driving assist systems. So this has not only fully adaptive cruise control, but it has some levels of hands-off driving at up to 40 miles an hour for heavy traffic situations, as well as lane change functionality when you are on a dual carriageway or motorway and have the fully automated cruise control system active. This system actually works really well, and when paired with the speed limit and sign recognition system, this car is a ridiculously easy one to drive. You can set the cruise control up to automatically follow the car in front of you, and you can then, with the push of a button or even automatically, have it adjust the set speed in line with the speed limit of the road you are driving down. When it comes to control inputs, the Countryman is also very good. Pedal feel is great, the brakes are good, all of the controls that you interact with in the cabin feel great. One element where I wish there was a little bit more feeling was the steering. It's got a characteristically fast steering rack, but you don't get a tremendous amount back to your hands, so it is occasionally difficult to know where the wheels are pointing. The other area where I wish this car had something fitted is a set of paddles to allow me to change the gears on the dual clutch transmission. They are an optional extra, but this one does not have it. However, I believe they are standard when you step up to the John Cooper Works or Sport trim levels. Overall though, this driving experience is great. Despite having grown in every dimension, the all-new Countryman is doing a pretty good job of both looking like a Mini and feeling like a Mini. It's certainly bringing that style and substance we know from the brand, as well as a much greater level of practicality than we've previously seen from this model. So overall, really, it's a pretty hearty recommendation from me. It certainly sits in an incredibly competitive segment, but it does a great job of stacking up against its competition. This car was very kindly provided to us by Stratstone Mini Chesterfield, so if you are in the market for a new Mini Countryman, or realistically any other Mini, please do go and check them out because they would be very happy to help you. And with that, that is everything for today's video, so thank you very much for watching. Please check out our social media and Spreadshop links in the video description, or you can become a channel member directly here on YouTube if you'd like to support us in another way. My name's Jasper, you've been watching Buckle Up, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!